Delta 216, Salt Lake City Center closed, frequency change approved, yeah.
Frequency change approved for Delta 216, thank you.
Delta 1549 at Bourbon, cleared ILS Yankee, runway 26 left approach.
At Bourbon, cleared for the ILS Yankee, 26 left approach, Delta 1549.
Control aircraft, LA Center closing in 5 minutes.
Oh, man.
Okay. Testing 1 2, audio test 1 2.
LA Center, Frontier Flight 1147 with Charlie ready taxi.
Frontier Flight 1147 LA Center, altimeter 29098, runway 24 left, taxi via Echo.
Could you repeat the taxi instructions, Frontier Flight 1147?
Alright, let's make sure the audio for the mic is good and we'll get rolling.
Taxi via Echo.
Taxi via Echo 11, Frontier Flight 1147, thank you.
Alright, should be better now, hopefully. Disconnect this, exit out of there, reset this. Okay, we're back up and running. Connect back. Alright, we're on the ground here in Las Vegas. Get ready to push out of here, gate Charlie 1. We're on a max 8. Let's get the AP rolling, run the checklist. Alright, before start originating checklist. Alright, logbook is aboard, linear pins 3 aboard, fire warning and overheat is checked already. Start levers, cut off, stab, trim, cut out switches, normalized test is checked. Originating checklist complete. Let's do our briefing real quick actually before we finish up the rest of it. Alright.
LA Center, Frontier Flight 1147 ready for departure.
It's going to be a right seat takeoff today. Aircraft is in good shape, no MELs, current weather here. Beautiful.
Clear for takeoff, runway 24 left, Frontier Flight 1147.
Good enough to get back in on the visual if we need to. Or the ILS. Predicted taxi route is going to be runway 26 right. We'll taxi full length. Taxi via Charlie, full length to runway 26 right. No hot spots on the way out there. Nice long dry runway available for takeoff. Flaps 5, 14,835 feet available for takeoff. Any abnormalities prior to 80 knots, I'm going to reject for any bells or horns prior to V1. I'm only going to reject for engine failure, engine fire, fire warning, predictive wind shear, or if the aircraft is just not going to fly V1 and above, we're committed to flight. All flight, the airplane will take it airborne. Treat it as an in-flight emergency. I'll handle the aircraft as well as ATC and the checklist, and since we're single pilot. Do have a single engine out procedure out of here, Las Vegas, straight out 259. Minimum cleanup altitude is 3,200. If we have an engine failure below 4,000 feet after V1, climb runway heading at 2.9 LAS DME, turn right heading 035. We have that set up on courses left and right. Again, minimum cleanup altitude 3,200 at 13 DME LAS, turn right heading 100. At or above minimum published altitude for intended route, request radar vectors over sumo nav. If we have an engine failure at or above 4,000, but we're before cells on the departure, continue on the SID, and we'll hold at cells left turns.
Flight 1147, radar contact.
At or above minimum published
maintain,
altitude
flight level
for
360,
intended route,
sail.
request radar vectors over sumo nav. If we have an engine failure after cells, just continue on the SID.
We're passing through 1,000 for 44.
MSA, we got a high MSA out here. 13,200, we're doing
Potential
the
aircraft at least under this frequency is
Joker 5 departure. KENNO transition, top altitude is flight level 190, it's climbing straight out off of runway 26 right, intercept the 249 to Rudy, at or below 230, at or above 4,000, cells at or below 8, Magneto, Kruger, at or below 250 knots, at or below 1,000, Joker, Grimes, Deadpool, Biker, then Cage, KENNO, RUSME, sorry, KENNO. Climb gradient off 26 right, 360 per nautical mile to 9,000, so as long as we're pulling off 1,500 feet a minute, I'm okay with that. Terrain is off to the west, 11,894 feet is our highest obstacle out to the west. Make sure we make our turns on the departure prior to the terrain, and we'll plan LNAV, VNAV all the way up. Alright, now that LA Center's closed, get our CTAF frequency in there, which is 19.9. So 119er, decimal 9er. There it is. Awesome sauce. And we'll do a mock PA. Connect the bus real quick. Hello folks, from the flight type, walkboard Southwest Flight 1556, service to Oakland. Flight time is going to be 1 hour 8 minutes, cruising altitude 36,000 feet, current weather in Oakland. Few clouds and a cool temperature of 57 degrees Fahrenheit. A little bit of bumps expected on our departure out of here, out of Las Vegas, as we head out over the terrain out to the west. Keep an eye on that seatbelt sign. Just waiting on our final paperwork, and we should be on our way soon. Thanks for your patience. Welcome aboard. Alright, that's all squared away. Alright, before start checklist, FMC's program briefings are complete. Oxygen mask quantity checked, ECs on, navigation switch is normal, display switch is auto and normal. Fuel, we've got 15.1 cleared with 15.1. Center pumps off, passenger signs on, window heat on, hydraulic pumps A's off, B's on, pressurization. Set auto flight instruments, 2988 set. Auto brake RTO, takeoff warning horn checked, parking brake is set. Transponder TRA, aileron and rudder trim is centered. OFP fit for duty, accepted sign, before start checklist complete. Simulate getting our numbers here. We didn't put our selected. Let's get our numbers for takeoff here. Flaps 5, still TL1. And it's 42, 34, TL1, reduced Flaps 5. Winds 200 at 10. Alright, dry 1500 reduction. We're gonna put 1000 in there. That's what Southwest is. Alright, got those in there. VNAV 92, that's good with me. 92, awesome. And route data, let's get our winds, request the winds. And it should pop up. Alright, menu. Here we go. Or no, that's not it. It's just the page. Sim menu, ground support. Okay, should have our, okay, load. It's in the middle of uploading now. Alright, let's see, uplink cruise wind. Execute, that means we have all our winds here. Okay, and then VNAV on the forecast page, request that as well. Alright, air conditioning, we don't need that anymore. We've already connected the bus, electrics. Let's get rid of our chocks as well. Go down, disconnect the trucks and the belt loaders. Disconnect all that. And we will keep the pin in for now. Actually, we're going to forget, so let's actually disregard. Okay, so everything's disconnected. Perfect. Now, we got to go to the doors now. Back. Doors. Let's close all the doors. Close, close, close. Close, close, close. Close, and we'll close the forward entry cabin door as well. Awesome, we can hear it. And I think we're good now. Terminal charts, we don't need any performance. Alright. Load our winds. Execute. Do our system test.
Glide
We forgot
slow.
to do that.
Pull up. Wind shear. Wind shear. Wind shear. Terrain. Terrain. Pull up. Obstacle. Obstacle. Pull up. Sink rate.
49.
Pull up. Don't sink.
Okay,
Too low.
49,
Terrain. Too low. Gear.
4.85.
Too low. Flaps.
Okay, we got that. Perfect.
Glide slope. Bank angle. Bank angle.
Approaching minimums. Minimums. 2,500. 1,000. 500.
That's a lot of enunciators.
400. 300. 200. 100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
Wind shear. Wind shear. Wind shear. Too low. Terrain. Caution. Terrain. Caution. Terrain. 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 Pull up. Caution. Obstacle. Caution. Obstacle. 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 Pull up.
Alright.
Okay.
Alright, request pushback. Or you can see the tug coming up. Jet bridge is going back. Door lights are out, perfect. Alright, before push checklist. 0 fuel weight, 137.9 set, gross weight 152.9, cross checked, PW marks reviewed, N1s. 4234 reduced set, runway 26 right.
I'm sorry, did they get traffic
That should be on there. It's not on there.
4 left. Short final.
Alright, 26 right, set flaps, PWB5, C25, V speeds 139, 142, 149 set. Stab trim is 4.9 set. Main cleanup is 3200. We'll call it set, flight that door lights out. Cockpit 2 ground aircraft number 8787 A's off. B's on, door lights out, parking brake is set. We don't need the terrain radar on. Alright, let's rock and roll here shortly. I'm going to release the parking brake so that way they are ready to push. Brakes are released. Clear to push into the alley, your discretion. Let us know when we can fire up 2 and 1. Here we go. We're going to hold off on start just for a moment since it's just an abnormal push over here at Charlie 1. So as soon as we're... Actually, the motoring takes a while, so we'll start up here shortly. We'll wait just a second. Here comes 2. Start 2. Start the clock. Oil pressure. Here's 25. Light off.
Vegas traffic, Delta 15.9, clear, 26 left, 2 forward left, and crossing 26 right.
Parking brake set. Roll back. Here comes a 1. Start 1, please. Isolate, ventilate. Start a new timer. Looking for 3 guys, pin in the bag. Oil pressure. Light off. Looking for that red tick to disappear. That'll be the rollback for engine 1. Rollback. Start the timer for warm-up. Standing by flaps, flaps 5. Control check. Before taxi checklist. Electrical generators on, propane on. Anti-ice off. Flight controls free. Flight deck windows closed and locked. Flaps. CDU 5 indicates 5. Green light. B4 taxi. Checklist complete. Brakes released. Here we go. Clear. Left, center, right. Vegas traffic, Southwest 1556, taxiing to 26 right Vegas. Should be on mode C. Interesting. There we go. Fixed it. Oh, it's not taxi too fast. Alright, we're looking for 3 minutes on the warm-up. We're going to make that for sure. Alright, no more than 35% N1 in the ramp areas and 40% near the ramp, and then 45% is our max on taxiways out here away from the ramp. 30 knots, no more than 30 knots on a straight long taxiway. Here's Charlie coming up on spot 10. Clear left, clear right, going left. Taxiing a little fast for this turn, but it's alright. Here we go. Alright, taxi. Now we just go straight all the way down to 26 right, full length. 3 minute cool warm-up time is almost complete. There it is. Get rid of the timer. LNAV and VNAV, and I will arm the auto throttles as we're taking the runway. And 1 minute from departure. Not quite there yet, but we'll ding them anyway. And then we'll do our throttle burst. Alright, throttle burst, got no horns, perfect. Before takeoff, checklist please. In takeoff fuel, verified. Departure plan not required, attendant notification is complete, electrical generators on. NES off, PAX auto bleeds, engines on, APU off, start switches are left continuous, APU off, flaps, CDU 5 indicates 5, green light. Start levers, idle, recall.
Southwest 179 departing.
Check.
Right, Vegas.
B4 takeoff checklist complete.
Vegas traffic, Delta 13 for going.
Terrain radar is coming on for the terrain out to the west. We're number 2 for takeoff. There's another Southwest over there. We'll be number 2 behind them. Somebody's behind us. I didn't even realize it. Oh, Delta. They had landed, I guess, coming in. Yeah. We'll be behind this red eye going out to Atlanta. Happy flying. So traffic on the roll will be diverging course, so we should not be impacted. We're doing the Joker, they're probably doing something else. Connected to voice server, we should remain connected, perfect. Man, this thing flies just on idle thrust. Alright, I'm going to turn the auto throttle on now. Wing lights coming on. Alright, lights coming on. And before we take the runway, make sure that our traffic in front of us is not going to be a factor. They are airborne. Perfect. Vegas traffic, Southwest 1556, departing 26 right on the Joker departure, Vegas. Alright, clear left, finals clear. Clear right, going right. Oh, too much. Let's wait till they fully diverge before we add takeoff thrust. I think they're going left. Or, yeah, they are. Okay, we should be good. Alright, we're good. 40%, here we go, and then we'll hit Toga. And also 26 right is verified. Set through us 85.7. 85.7 set. 80 knots.
V1.
Rotate. Landing gear up, please. Positive rate. Landing gear up. Just trim this bad boy out. LNAV, VNAV. Perfect. So SB, flaps 1, climb thrust. Flaps 1. Flaps up, please. Flaps coming up. Alright, we're hand flying it for now. Staying with the flight director here. Alright, 3,000 feet AGL, set speed. Here we are, 7 for 8. VNAV path. There's our restriction here at cells. Here we go, N1, being out of speed. We're back in the climb again. Flight director on this one seems a little finicky, but we're staying with it, so. Alright, let's go Command B. Command B. Ten 10,000 feet, climb checklist. Pressurization check, start switches off, APU off, climb checklist complete. Alright, so we are leveling 11,000 feet because that's our restriction at Kruger, and we're maxed out to 250. Switching to 22.8. .8. There it is. CTAP is in there. And tower in Oakland is, let's find out, 27.2. We'll just plug that in here for anticipation. This will already be done. Perfect, 27.2 is in there. Still stuck at 11, we're following the SID. And 108.7, 296. So I'm going to start prepping this stuff, 296. For Oakland. And 108.7 for the ILS. Switch this over to ILS 1087, switch. 1087, switch it over. There it is. Perfectamundo. Alright, as soon as we cross Kruger here at about 1 mile, now our 250 restriction will be deleted, and what I'll do is actually delete the D rate. We don't need it anymore. D rate has been deleted. Now we can use all of our climb thrust 89.6. Here we go. Alright, flight level 360 is coming in. Alright, 360 set. Sweet. Get all our numbers ready, so that's all squared away. I even put in a ring around 30, a 5-mile ring and a 10-mile ring. So if you go into plan mode, I'll show you what it looks like. Legs page, and we just step it down all the way through our route. Where you'll see it right there. Next, there it is. See that green ring around there? I threw that in there for situational awareness. I like throwing that in there. Alright, back to map mode. You can even use a VSD here. See if we're on a trajectory to cross into terrain, or... Alright, let's get this back up. Alright, so we're flying the econ speeds. If I wanted to, I could just delete the econ and say, you know what, I want to get to Oakland fast. Captain's leg, right? Instead of the 284, just put in 330. Boom. Looks good. Execute. Awesome. Airplane's now going to accelerate to 330 knots. Hey, what's up? I actually don't even know the update, to be honest. I haven't flown the iFly since probably since last year, actually. So honestly, I'm kind of in the dark with all the updates that are going on. But so far, this plane seems to be flying just fine. Alright, airplane's accelerating nicely, except our climb rate's not very good, right? So that's okay. We've already met all the restrictions on the way up. The route between Vegas and NorCal is always a little funky due to the airspace. Yeah, you got a lot of MOAs and restricted areas off to the left and to the right. You've got the Panamint MOA off to the left and restricted area 2502 off to the left. And coming up, we've got restricted area 4808, which is the famous area where Area 51 is. It's pretty cool. Okay, 180. Standard set. Turn out the lights. Here it is. Let's get this on. Or we get the bright one on. Right. Alright. Highest terrain that we can see on our radar here. 12.9. We're way above that, so I'm gonna get rid of that. Let's go ahead and do weather. See if we can see some weather. I don't think there's any weather to speak of, but okay, so we already briefed the departure. We did not brief the arrival, and we should have, because yeah, if a departure and an arrival connects itself on a flight, you got to brief both before you leave the gate. So I'm going to brief that real quick here. Alright, we got Oakland, California, page 10-2 Bravo, September, or effective October 2nd. Oakland, California's Oaks 3 arrival RUSME transition. RUSME cross Oaks between 280, or at 280 between 32 and 24, at Grudge at 260 between 23 and 200, band between 19 and 17, Tool, Fist 200 knots between 9 and 7, perfect, outer above 6. Actually that goes into the approach, so this is new. I haven't flown into Oakland on the sim in a long time, but I don't know if there was even a Fist fix, but it used to be 200, around this area was 210 knots coming into Oakland, and I think they changed that because I believe you end up going below the Class Bravo into the San Francisco Class Bravo airspace, and if you're below the Bravo, there is a speed restriction. It's 200 knots, so I think that might be why. Anyways, we're going to go right into briefing the approach. Alright, so we got Oakland, California, ILS 30, page 11-9. Localizer frequency is 1087. Identifier is I, double I, November Bravo. Final approach course 296, cross Maita at 2000 with an ILS DA of 209. Touchdown zone elevation is 9 feet. MSA, if we need it, 5,100 feet. We've got fists, again 200 between 9 and 7. Perfect at or above 6. Parb at 4,500. Zola at or above 3,500. Woven at or below 200 knots, at or above 2,700. Maita at 2,000. 3-degree path down to that DA again of 209. We're expecting to see a PAPI on the left side of the runway. Also 2 approach lighting system. If we need to go around, we'll fly the published mist. Or as directed by the tower published mist is climb straight out to 600 feet, then a left turn heading at 260. Intercept the Sausalito 110 radio. It's 290 inbound course to Sausalito at or above 4,000. And when we get there, it's a 215 inbound course, right turns. For the hold, we can verify that here. Hold, boom, 215 right turns, standard 1 minute legs. Awesome. That is coolio with me. Plan a right turn off the runway, nice long runway available for us. Landing distances for Oakland 30 is 89, 49, plan flaps 30. And we'll taxi to the gate via expecting taxiway Whiskey and either Whiskey Victor Tango or Whiskey Uniform to the gate. No hotspots. And that's a briefing. It is complete. Check our we're gonna check our ATIS here. Real world ATIS for Oakland is ATIS Alpha 290.10 for the winds, 10 static miles, few clouds 800, temperature 140.13, altimeter 3,000. I'm gonna put that in here. That way it's ready to go in the standby. Awesome. ILS 30, ILS 30 is out of service. So this is something that we catch now, right? That's why we read our NOTAMs. Luckily this one's on the ATIS, meaning we can't do the ILS 30. 30 PAPI's out of service as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to fly the RNAV. So let's get that pulled up here. So we just briefed this ILS approach for no reason, and we're going to have to rebrief again now. So standby 1. So I'm looking at the ILS Yankee. We can't do it because it's got LPV. So we're going to do the RNAV Zulu, which has a RMP of 0.15. Let's plug that in here. 0.15. Boom. Oh, we can't do it in here. In the real jet you can. So since it's 0.3, our minimums are going to be higher. So it's going to be 385. So here we go. I'm going to bug this all the way up to 385. .385 is set. All this means for RMP is the progress that we're able to see as far as the gate. Think of it like a bowling alley. If you're at a bowling alley and you suck at bowling, you use the side gates, right? So the bowling ball can't go into this off the side, right? Because it's stuck in between the gates. So that's where the gates come in, 0.30. So we can't do 0.15. This is all in nautical miles, 0.3 nautical miles. So there's that. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and plug in the new approach. So here comes that. Switch this over to RNAV Zulu, runway 30. There it is. Boom. Still doing FIS transition. Alright. Let's make sure that we plugged it in correctly though, alright? So Oaks, still got the entire arrival in there, right? Tool, FIS, perfect. Then Parb, Hepmo, Mito. If we really wanted to make sure that this is good, which we should be, right? Go back to map, or sorry, plan. And make sure that this is all, the new one is actually inserted correctly. So here we go. Step it down. Here it is. Hepmo. What's after Hepmo? Mito. Still the same fix. Cool. Looks good to me. Execute. Boom. There it is. Get back to map mode. And now we're gonna rebrief because we have to. So alright, everything's still the same on the arrival. The only difference is fist. Alright. So we have the ILS, Oakland, California, page 12-23, RNAV RMP Zulu 30. Alright, RNAV approach, final approach course still 296, cross Mito still at 2000. RMP point 3 is going to be 385, which we set that up already. Touchdown zone elevation is 9 feet. MSA, if we need it, 50-100, highest obstacle is northeast of the airport, 3909. Alright, so let's go FIST, 200, 9,000, 7,000, perfect. Outer above 6, Parb, outer above 45, Hepmo, outer above 3,100. Mito, outer above 2,000. And 3-degree path. Looks good. Down to our DA of 385. What are we looking for? Pappy on the left side. Also 2, approach lighting system, go around, we'll fly the published mister as directed by the tower. Published mist, straight out, 4,000 feet, heading 296, all the way to Plaza intersection, which we got that in there. And from there, 282 course to Sausalito. There it is, boom, 4,000, 217 right turns, 4-mile legs for the hold. 217 right turns, and it doesn't actually have the 4 miles in there, so we gotta set that up. Boom, 4 miles. Looks good. Execute. Awesome sauce. That's all there. Briefing complete. Still the same exit plan. So we're climbing really slow, but that's okay. I haven't flown the 7.3 in the sim in such a long time, so always recenter our heading bug where the triangle is. Boom. Because if something happens, right, and we need to switch over to heading, if I go heading select, nothing should change. We're still flying a track of 321. Perfect. Now I'll go back to LNAV. And make sure that proper enunciations illuminate there. These lights on here, never rely on these lights to tell you what mode you're in on the MCP. So like, this light does not tell me that we're in LNAV. Right? What does tell me is the FMA here, flight mode enunciator panel right here, right in the middle, LNAV, green. That's what we're looking for. Because if we deselect it, nothing's going to be there, right? If I put heading select, clicks, now it says heading select right here. If it doesn't say heading select, we've got a problem. So, alright, back to LNAV. Same deal with VNAV, right? I could choose flight level change. All that's going to do is maintain the current Mach number that we have set up here. And this window is going to open right here. So LNAV, that window opens to 0.80. Now we're going to maintain this speed on the climb with our maximum climb N1s there of 94.7. That's our limitation there. Alright, back to VNAV. Awesome sauce. So now we're back to VNAV speed, right? We verify that. All these mean is this N1, that's maintaining this specified N1 setting for the climb. We're in LNAV mode, and VNAV speed, meaning it's maintaining this speed all the way up to 360, not to get that confused with VNAV path, meaning that we're flying the path that has been inserted into the FMC, or FMS. Alright, 35 or 36. The 1,000 feet to go, so don't rely on that horn to tell you when you're 1,000 feet. That'll go off when you're 900 feet from your selected altitude. So that, notice how it went off at 35.1 and not 35. Alright. Reset that. And Southwest has no cruise checklist, so it's all just flows. Now we're at 360. It's good rides. It's not been bumpy, right? So what does that mean for us? Packs. Alright, 360, we're captured. And now we're in VNAV path. Now we're starting our left turn direct to RUSME. And now we can make our PA, right? This is our selectors for the mic. I selected PA. That means when I transmit, it's going to transmit to the back passengers. Ladies and gentlemen, from the flight deck, we have reached our cruising altitude of 36,000 feet. Gonna go ahead and turn that seatbelt sign off. That is your signal. You are safe to move about the cabin. Right now we're showing about 232 miles till we hit the Oakland International Airport. Touchdown at about 1:23 a.m. local time. Update you on that weather as we get a little closer. Thank you for choosing us here at Southwest. Enjoy the flight. Alright, switch that out. I always like to do auto. That's what they do anyway at Southwest. They go auto. Because if you leave it in auto and you forget, as you're descending down on the arrival, start adding flaps, right? All of a sudden when you drop the gear, boom, you drop the gear, this is going to automatically go to the, it's going to stay on auto, but it's going to automatically in the back switch to on. But hey, thanks man. I used to be a CFI. I guess I still am, but I'm not active. Let's put it that way. I don't fly the 737, disclaimer. I am very familiar with the 737 because I used to work at Southwest on the ramp, just loading bags. I did that for 6 years. And we had access to everything, all the Southwest 737 manuals, from the FOM to the flight reference manuals and the aircraft operating manuals, all that stuff. So I've read all of it. And I've been in the sims in Dallas at Southwest headquarters countless times. Such a cool airplane though, the 7.3. It's old, but it's cool. Here we go. So you can tell from our TD we're about these rings here. I have it set with the range. So this first ring is 40 miles, 80 miles, and then that's about 120 miles right there. And as soon as that hits there, it tells me we're about 120 miles right there. Exactly 120 miles till top of descent. TD, that's what that means. That's going to be at 8:02 Zulu time. Current time now 7:46. So about 14, 15, 16 minutes from now is when we're going to start our descent on the Oaks 3 arrival. And 222 miles left till we get to our destination, as through the whole route that we have plugged in here, taking into account that all the mileage on that. Touchdown with 9.1 on the gas, which is about 1,900 pounds left to burn. Let's see. 279. Make sure we got everything set up correctly, which we do. That's the left side. Put that in the progress page. Alright. I think after we land in Oakland and taxi to the gate, I'm going to take a break for a while, and then we'll do the flight. We'll do a flight, probably down to SoCal or maybe back to Vegas. We'll see. on an NG. So instead of it being on a Max 8, we're going to do it on the either an 800 or a 700. I haven't done a 700 in a while, so maybe that. But we'll see. Yeah, as far as the cruise portion, everything's just monitored. Make sure there's no lights or anything up here. Probably the big one would be the pressurization. Alright, make sure this is set correctly. It's an auto, cool. This isn't going past the red. It's not, cool. Cabin altitude is 5, 6, 7, about 7,000 feet is our cabin altitude. Cabin altitude isn't climbing or descending. Yep. Yeah, anyways, that's a lot of talking. But what did I do down here when I clicked the, this was the transponder. If I put that in auto, we'll just keep it on. But if we put it in auto, what does that mean? I'm still in mode C. Alright, we'll keep it on auto. Perfect. Works out for me. So I don't see any weather on here. I'm going to get rid of the weather radar. We don't need it. As far as what you put on your ND here, your navigation display, either stations, right? Those are VORs. Waypoints, probably going to clutter it up too much. Yeah, it only works at a lower setting, just because there's so many waypoints out there. I won't put that on there. Airports, potentially helpful. Right, about to come over Mammoth. Fresno. Could be useful. Don't need that. Data, it's going to tell you the time that you're going to cross these fixes. And your RMP, apparently. 803 Zulu. We're going to cross Oaks at 803 Zulu. Position, I don't know what that is. But personal preference, you could have everything on there. It's probably crazy, or you can have nothing on there. Station, I like stations sometimes, but get rid of the terrain radar on that. Personal preference. I know when I was jump seating on Alaska a couple of weeks ago from Honolulu to San Diego, sitting in the jump seat, which is the most uncomfortable jump seat ever, because you're sitting right here. Here's the jump seat, which apparently you can actually open. Look at that. That's cool. See, this would be, I wish I had known this before, because this jump seat is very complex compared to the other jump seats. Like Airbus jump seat is like, you don't have to take anything out, it's just set up for you. 777 jump seat, same way. 747 jump seat, easy, you know. But this one, man. And I haven't jump seated on a regional jet yet, so I can't speak on that, but this would have been cool because I could have practiced. First time I jump seated on the 7.3, the captain probably thought I was stupid because I was struggling with this thing, you know, because there's just a lot of moving pieces to it. But by the end of the flight, I was able to do it. But you get some good practice when the pilots have to go pee. They have to call the flight attendants and do the whole dance where they get up and all that jazz. So you'll get pretty good on those longer flights. Get pretty good at opening and closing this thing. But I know the way that you do it is you pull this little red thing right here, pull that out, and then this thing will come down, right? And then you have to pull this thing up and put it on this. You'll see it right there. Perfect. Put it up, and then there's this. I don't know. It's just complex. It's not complex, but it's complex at the same time. But okay, let's close that up. What is this? I don't know what that is. Hopefully I'm not opening a door. Alright, we're good. Pressurization's still good. 5, 6, 7,500 pounds. We don't have an open door, so we're good. Yeah, so this, it's okay if this goes into the yellow a little bit, but always have your cruising altitude here, and always have your field elevation that you're going to be landing at here, and then always have this in auto. And you never really mess with this into manual mode unless it's an emergency and the QRH calls for it. But always keep it at your cruise altitude and your elevation at your landing airport, and it's going to and the pressurization is automatic. But going into the yellow is fine. I've seen it go into the yellow a little bit, but you'll know if it goes out of the yellow and into the red because there'll be a horn, and it'll be the most annoying horn you've ever heard, and it's loud, and it's just, it gets your attention, let's put it that way. And you got to do the whole shenanigans, which I think memory items for pressurization is don oxygen masks and establish crew communications, set regulators to 100%. Those are the three things you got to remember for pressurization in the 737 is oxygen mask number 1, and you got to put it on within a matter of seconds. So that's down here, right? So in the order of setting, so don oxygen masks, set regulators to 100%, and then establish crew communications, because it gets loud and you're not able to hear each other, the captain and the FO, so you got to make sure that you can communicate. And there's ways to do it via the speaker, so they can hear you over the speaker, but it gets kind of hectic in there. Then you'll want to get out, right? Get down. So biggest thing is getting down to 10,000, or in this case, you got to really be careful of the terrain you're flying over, right? I would be very careful with that. Maybe down to 13 or something. I don't know. As long as that gives you about 1,000-foot clearance. Flight level change, speed brakes all the way back to flight detent, and set Mach 0.82, and you'll come down very, very, very quickly. But let's see. Alright, let's turn that off. TD is in, how long do we have till TD? 54 nautical miles. As soon as we hit 50 TD, 50 miles from the top of descent, we'll do our descent checklist, which is southwest. You could do that within that distance. I think it's in the FOM somewhere, but I don't think anybody cares. So, reference, we're doing flaps 30 for 144, 149. 144, 149 with the 5 knot correction there. Alright, 50 nautical miles, a descent checklist please. Minimum set. Who's this? Auto ATC. Descend via the Oaks arrival. Cool. Alright, descent checks. Minimum set, VREF and VTarget is 144, 149 set. Auto brake, RTO, or correction, auto brake is off. My bad. Not RTO. And recall. Checked. Descent checklist complete. A lot of Southwest guys like to do manual braking and not auto brakes. But again, personal preference, whatever they want to do. So now that we, according to Auto ATC, we can descend via the Oaks. What does that mean for us? Well, let's pull up the Oaks 3 arrival and see what the bottom altitude is. Bottom altitude on the Oaks is FIST at between 7 and 9, right? So we could set the bottom altitude in there. Alright, setting bottom altitude, it's set. So what this means now, we have 7,000, right? We can see that here, 7,000. We're in LNAV VNAV paths, so still flying the lateral portion of our route here, right? and VNAV path. So now we're going to fly the path into here. So whatever it finds to be the most efficient and most economical descent all the way down to our bottom altitude of 7,000, it's going to fly that. So this plane is going to stay here at 360 up until the descent, top of descent right here. Then it's going to automatically start a descent down on the Oak's arrival without me having to do anything. If I were to keep this window set to 360 and we pass top of descent, it's not going to descend down because it's stuck at 360. When you set an altitude in here, you're limiting what it can go down to on the arrival. It'll still fly the path down here all the way until whatever altitude you've set in there. Or if you haven't set anything and you kept it 36, it's just going to stay limited to 36. I have a feeling this is going to change to 143 here in a minute. Then it would be 143, 148 set. There we go. Check our on path. Looks good. And let me do a check for ATC real quick. Make sure nobody's online. Nobody is. Awesome sauce. We're still on 22.8, which is Unicom for the en route portion of the flight. And tower again is in 127.2. I don't remember if Southwest has, if they use COM 1 for transmitting to ATC and COM 2 for monitoring 21.5 or whatever company is. But I know at Atlas they do. I jump seat on Atlas all the time, in and out of Asia, and they use COM 1 for primary, so they always keep it. I guess the way they do it is they always change it on the captain's side. So if the FO is PM, they're talking to ATC, but they're changing their frequencies on the captain's side versus the FO side. I'm not sure why. I actually don't remember if the 7.4 has a way to switch between VHF1 and VHF2. Anyway, enough said about that. TD is in, let's see, 18 miles? 16 miles, looks like. Perfect. Perfectamundo. I'd like to go on here and see how far we are. 116 nautical miles till descent. Almost there. I guess it'd be helpful to find out what gate we're going to, which is something that the pilots would do before descending, making sure you get the gate assignment, whatever it is on ACARS, which we're going to gate 31. So that's all the way on the, almost all the way at the end of T2 there. Awesome. On flight radar 24, I can see that there's a Southwest jet landing on 28 right. That's pretty cool, actually. I'm kind of curious if something's going on with with 30. It's open. Why are they landing on 28 right? Okay, we're descending now. The thrust levers are retarding back to idle. So now what I'm going to do is go like this. Seatbelt sign is on. Give an update on the weather to the passengers. Ladies and gentlemen, from the flight deck, we've begun our initial descent to Oakland. We're currently about 98 miles from the airport. Current weather there is few clouds, temperature of 57 degrees Fahrenheit. Touching down at about, again, about 1:23 a.m. local time. Know you have many choices when you fly. On behalf of the entire flight crew, I'd like to thank you for choosing us here at Southwest Airlines. Come back and see us again soon. Alright. So actually Southwest, they just landed on runway 28 left. That would be fun. I think we should do that actually, because there's not a whole lot of opportunities for us to land on 28 left. So we're going to do that. We're going to do that tonight. Because why not? Short runway, it's a fun challenge. So it'll be the Arnav Zulu 28 left. Zulu 28 left, fist transition still. Alright. Here we go. Go arrivals. Arnav Zulu 28 left, fist. Again, make sure we've got it. We've got our new path selected here. So step down. What's our new path look like? So JUPAP, heater, or header, then VATSIM. Alright, looks good. Execute. It has been executed now. Let's re-center the heading bug. Boom, there it is. And we're gonna do a third approach briefing now. Okay. Okay, so we got Oakland, California, Arnav Zulu 28 left. Oh, now the minimums are 425. Let me just plug that in real quick. .425 is set. 278 is the inbound course now. There it is. Set the captain's side, 278. Boom, there it is. Okay, we are speeding up, so what we'll do is use the speed brakes. Flight descent, detent. A little more. Okay, perfect. Okay, cross, okay, we are at Arnav Zulu 28 left, page 12-21. It's not Arnav approach, final approach, course is 278, Vodney at 1900. Hour 3.3 DA for RMP .3 is 425. RVR has got to be 6,000. Fist, between 9 and 7, 200 knots. JUPAP at or above 37. Header at or above 28, VATSIM at above 19, 3-degree path down to a DA again of 425. We're expecting to see PAPI on the right side of the runway this time. Okay, make sure we're slowing still. We are, perfect. So PAPI's going to be on the right side. No approach lighting, I guess. And in the event of a go-around, we'll fly the published mister as directed by the tower. Published miss heading 278 to Opley. And then from Opley to Rebas And then Rebass is direct entry 344, right turns 4 miles. For right turns 4 miles. Boom, there it is. Execute. New numbers 143, 144, 143, 148 set noted. Boom. That's all in there. Perfect. We're going too slow now. Can't forget this. Usually when you use the speed brakes, you keep your hand on the speed brake. Because then you'll never forget if you have your hand on it the whole time. Okay. Still descending on path, about 260 feet high on the path. As you can see, there's our yellow, correction, our pink, magenta triangle right there. That's our V path. It's blinking because we're going a little far out of it now, so we need to use more speed brake actually. We'll keep it down, right? No, there it is. Perfect. Now we got to brief the new taxi. So landing distance available for 28 left is, I don't know. High intensity runway lighting though, that's what we got. All right. Top down is 6213. Landing distance is available. Perfect. Short runway, you know what that means, right? We got to change our flap setting. We're going to actually do flaps 40, 138, 143 set. So whenever we make changes, we actually have to redo the descent checklist. So descent checklist minimums set, VREF and VTarget 143 or 138, 143 set. Auto brake is off and recall. Oops, this one. Checked. Descent checklist complete. And we're about to approach 180 and we'll continue the briefing. And we're going to call for the approach checklist. Which, let's make sure that it's the ATIS has not changed. It has. So 2909 now. 180 approach checklist. Altimeters. 2909 set packs. Auto start switches continuous. Descent checklist complete. Let us know. Get the cabin cleaned up. So what we'll do is put these on. Usually cleared for approach. Turn these on. Cleared to land. Turn the taxi light on. I'm just going to turn them all on. I'm just going to turn everything on because I'm going to forget them later. But, we need to start slowing a little more. Right there. Okay, so our new briefing is we're actually going to back taxi on runway 28 left. So we're going to make a 180 on the runway, taxi back, taxi onto Bravo, taxi all the way on Bravo to Tango, and then left on uniform to gate 31. No hotspots. Boom. Briefing is done. Man, it's a lot to brief. Too much speaking. But now we need to switch this. Get rid of this. We don't need that anymore. Now 2A left is going to be the center point for us. Boom, fix, create a 5-mile ring around, a 10-mile ring around. Boom, there it is. Alright. So now we got to slow down even more because it says drag required, right? Drag required. We can clear that out because we're doing what we can. And I'm going to switch over to CTAF. There it is, 27.2. Recenter this. I'm going to put the terrain radar on again. That way we can see that. So we're about to hit Fist, so if we get cleared for the approach, now we can reset our altitude to the bottom altitude on the approach, 1900. And these policies change over time. Southwest they change a lot of stuff. So, going off of what I last remember, it's 1900, which is VATSIM, right? So we'll keep that in there. We don't even have to worry about arming approach or anything because we're just going to fly LNAV, VNAV all the way in. That's the thing about the 7.3 is it doesn't like to go down and slow down simultaneously. "10,000 feet, attendants are notified." Yeah, it doesn't look like we're going to be slowing down much, but we're going to need some relief here. So we'd let ATC know what's going on and all that jazz. So. Another ATC check. Okay, we're good. Oakland traffic, Southwest 1556. We're about 25 miles to the east, descending on the RNAV Zulu 28 left approach, Oakland. Yeah, so we're doing our best to get down right now. We've had the boards out for a while, so. Oh, I know, it's because we have a freaking tailwind, that's why. It's not much of a tailwind, but it's a tailwind nonetheless. That's not helping us. Oh, let's actually turn this light off. We don't need this. Alright, perfect. Alright, so now we're on a segment of the approach, so LNAV and VNAV pass, setting touchdown zone elevation. Alright, because we're really struggling, normally we like to go flaps 1 here, but we're gonna go directly to 5. And we can because we're below 250 knots indicated airspeed, right? We're 231 right now, so I'm gonna put this back up. I'm gonna go flaps 5. Here we go. And that should give us a little more drag. A preferred amount of drag, let's put it that way. Alright, just arm the speed brake, so we're good there. And since we're RNAV, we gotta be able to monitor the cross track on here. Sorry, right here. RMP progress. What else can we do? So we're at flaps 5 right now. What else can we do to slow this sucker down? We're gonna drop the gear. That's gonna help us, so. Here it is. You're down through green. This approach altitude is 3,000 or 3,000, okay. We're about 12 miles from the runway, so we're doing okay on. We're doing okay right now. We're descending or we're decelerating.
2,500.
All right, so we could stay. We'll stay at 170. We'll go flaps 15. Or you know what, we'll just slow early. Screw it. We can let the plane decelerate us. Flaps 15. Flaps 30. Flaps 40 before landing checklist. Speed brake armed, green light. Landing gear down 3 green flaps. 40 green light. Before landing checklist complete. Oakland traffic Southwest 1556. About an 8-mile final, runway 28 left, Oakland. Hopefully we don't get any lag here. Alright, we're more than 400 feet below the missed approach altitude. We'll set that up right now. Missed approach altitude set. We're LNAV and VNAV path. Speed brake extended. Okay, there's the yellow light. I didn't even see that. That's because it's hiding, I think. Okay, there it is. No wonder something felt a little off. So I'm going to disconnect the autopilot and just hand fly the rest of the way in. If you guys don't mind. I don't think you do. Autopilot is disconnected. And now we just stay with the flight directors all the way down. You can even see the pappies. We're 3 white, 1 red. But let's stay with the flight directors. A little bit slow, correcting.
1,000.
1,000 feet, airspeed 143, sync rate 750. Alright, now we make that call. We make that call for making sure that we're stable. Oakland traffic Southwest 1556. We're about 3-mile final, 28 left, Oakland. And you'll see we're on the VNAV path, right, in the airplane. But if you look outside, we're right on Pappy. Okay, so right here, see that? 3 red, 1 white. That just means that the Pappy and the approach glide path is not coincident. So it's not going to be exactly on path.
Approaching minimums.
No one else said.
400. Minimums.
Landing. Always make that call that you're landing.
300.
So I'm going to go outside now, completely outside now.
200.
I'm okay with three red, 1 white because of the short runway. It's okay. Watch me slam this thing in, huh?
100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
Ooh, that was a hard one. Extended. Deployed. $60 knots. Alright, we're gonna make a 180 on the runway. Let's turn this terrain radar off. Alright guys, welcome to Oakland. Not a smooth landing, but you can't really be smooth on a runway this short, so. Oakland traffic, Southwest 1556, back taxiing runway 28 left, Oakland. AP. Coming on. Oh. I don't really like how the nose gear is so sensitive on the ground on Microsoft Flight Sim. It's crazy. Make sure our trim is back out in the green band. We're going to terminate this airplane here. Going all the way down to 28 or to taxiway Bravo. We don't need that. Yeah, we don't need that. Going between the blue lights. Here's a taxiway lead off line here, the green light, center, taxiway center line light. We can follow that off. And then the captain will call for flaps up. Connect the bus. Look at this taxiway. What the heck is this, huh? This is so bizarre. Oh, we forgot to set the clock. Anyway, we've definitely met our 3-minute cooldown time for the CFM50, or correction, the LEAP 1B. And we'd call company, say, hey, Oakland, 1556 is on the ground, and then they'll tell you what gate you're going to. They'll say, hey, 1556, welcome to Oakland. I got you going to gate 31 today. And they'll be like, alright, 31, we'll see you there. Cool. Just to make sure that there's no changes. Because they could have given us a gate assignment, you know, 30 minutes ago at the top of descent, but it's now changed, so, but cross-check, verify, all that stuff. So I'm just going to shut down 2. And we'll taxi back on 1 engine. Alright, coming up next left is going to be Tango, and that's the taxiway we want. It'll take us all the way there to Uniform, left on Uniform, then a right turn into gate 31. I don't think I had, no, I don't have scenery for this airport, so this is all default. Looks like trash. That makes sense with the curve off of 2A left a couple minutes ago. Alright, one more time is done. We're good. We don't need to monitor the time anymore. Here's left on Tango, clear left, going left. Alright, let's get some power in so we can roll through. Alright, we're on Tango now. Now we taxi all the way down. Just turn this light on. I think I'm missing something here in the center pedestal, but maybe not. I think we're good. I think I got everything on the flow. Once we get to 31, we'll shut down and we'll do our parking checklist, and then we'll secure the airplane. Do our secure checklist. And we'll call it a night, at least for this leg. Do another one in a little bit, probably, on the NGs. It's so dark over here. Let's add some light. Let's do that one. Here's gate 32, we're gate 31. Here's gate 31. And we won't turn off the light just yet. And then we're going to blind the rampers. Or we don't have any rampers. That's okay. Rampers be like, why is he taxiing slow? I want to go home and go to bed. Yeah. I only have the light on because, the taxi light on because I can't see outside, so. Alright, we'll call that good. Parking brake. Set. Let's shut it down. Parking checklist. Parking brake, set. Start levers cut off. Anti-collision light off. Fuel pumps. Got the forward on. Or left forward on, sorry. Window heat off. Probe heat auto. Anti-ice off. Hydraulic pumps, electrics off. Start switches off. Oil quantity. We check that in here. 97, 97. Hydraulic, sorry, oil quantity. Yeah, 97, 97 hydraulic quantity. System is 98, 98%. No need to refill. Radar is test. Transponder standby at zeros. Parking checklist complete. And we'll connect the ground power. Go down here. Cargo door. Okay, ground support. Chocks. Since it's a Terminator, they're going to chock everything. Electrics. No air for Terminators. This. Nothing. Belt loader, okay. Belt loader, okay. Only the nose gear pin. And safety cones. Engine 2 safety cone, yes. And wing cones. No pitot covers. And set. Now what we can do, get rid of that. Isolate, ventilate this out, and we'll connect the bus. There's the green, or sorry, the one blue light. Connect the ground power, and APU comes off, fuel pumps off, and we're going to put this airplane to bed. Alright. We'll wait for the APU to shut down, and we'll call it good. Oh, they took it away. It used to be APU EGT. I remember that actually. When I jump seated on Southwest, he was like, "I wish they would have kept the APU EGT in the plane." I'm like, "Yeah, me too, actually." But oh, you know what? I forgot to click the jetway. Aircraft jetway. It's not coming. Oh well. We'll pretend it's on. Turn off the ones we don't need, like this, and we'll all the lights off. Get ready to put this airplane to bed. Alright, so according to the release, we should have 8.6 on the gas, which we have 8.5, 8.7 there. Perfect. We are right on. We're right on with the fuel numbers. Not bad. I don't think there's a way that we know if APU is running or not, unfortunately. Yeah. So we can just go outside and listen. Well, we can hear it. It's APU. It takes about a minute for it to shut down. So now we're going to run the shutdown checklist. Make sure, let's actually check to see flight. Awesome, this was a fun flight. Landing on 28 left, not normal. It's pretty cool. Complete that flight. Disconnect that. Alright, so now we're gonna run the terminating checklist. Alright, staff trim. Green band. IRS's. That's the one I forgot. IRS is off. Emergency exit lights off. External lights off. Ground power is, we're going to turn it off. APU is also off. The battery. Ground power is off. Wait a second. Ground power off. And we have our one blue light. And that is a successfully terminated aircraft. Thanks for joining us, and we'll talk to you guys on the next one later.